Hello, Miss Bell's Algebra 2 class. This is actually from yesterday. I just didn't get around to this particular assignment until today as I was reading tests. So we have solving quadratics using the calculator and graphing. What's nice about this is that it tells you exactly the steps to go through. I would actually, stop here, and I'm going to show you, just the graph is okay, but it really doesn't tell you exactly what you need. I would go to the table. So I'm going to kind of show that and do that. First of all, you got to put these into standard form as it says in step 2. Your equation is in standard form. So you got to put it with, it equaling 0. So you have this, remember that standard form is what? Ax squared plus bx plus c and equals 0. So, you have the a, b, and c there. So the x squared comes first, then the x, and then the number without x if you have one. If you have those, you put them in that order. Okay, so I rearranged this to have the 15 over on this side of the equation, so I had to add a 15 to both sides, and that would left me with 0 over here, so I was ready to go. I put this in the calculator, so you're going to hit the y equals button, and you're going to plug this in, and your x button is right here, so you're going to hit x, and you're going to square it. And then you're going to hit minus 8x. This is that x button again. And then plus 15, plus 15. Okay. And then it says on here to make sure your y2 is 0, always enter 0 in for y2. So just, go down there and enter 0 there. And then it says to graph it, to press graph. So if you press graph, it'll show you. And these points where it crosses the x-axis, and you could actually read those. This is 3, 0, and this is 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it just is not, it's not really precise because you don't know if it's going to land exactly on a number or if it's a little off the number. I don't know. So what I did was I went to the table. I hit second and I hit table. And then wherever y is 0, so I go down. And see these two, y is 0. So this is going to be they're calling them roots right now because they call them other things later on, and they're the same thing. So this is going to be a root where y is 0, where it crosses the x-axis actually, the x-intercepts, if you will, 3, 0, and 5, 0. And that's how I got these 3, 0, and 5, 0. Now, you could also enter this in Desmos, and I'm going to show you the next one on Desmos. You could put it in a calculator. I first put it in standard form. I subtracted 3 from both sides. And then if you do Desmos, look up Desmos. Desmos graphing calculator. Okay, and then I'm going to put you pull this up, and I'm going to put x squared. And even though it's a, you go ahead and use x. It doesn't matter what the letter is. 2x, and then minus 3. Okay. So right here, you're going to find and it graphs it for you. You can get rid of that, by just making it go up or down. Okay, get rid of it. Right here is where it crosses the x-axis, so that's one of your roots, and here's your other one. And I always work from left to right. So negative 1, 0, and 3, 0. Negative 1, 0, and 3, 0. I actually did this one on the calculator, and notice Desmos gives you the same answer. So if you're at home and you have a computer, Desmos works to just plug that in. Okay, moving on. When you plug this into your calculator, remember you got to put it in standard form. I'm not going to show you the calculator each time, but you're doing the same thing. I would use the graph and go down where you see y equals 0 on each one of these after you plug it in your calculator, and you will find negative 1, 0, and 1, 0. Number 7. Remember, even though it's not x, you could use x in your calculator or on Desmos, and you plug that in, and you will get 1, 0, and 4, 0 where it crosses your x-intercepts. X-intercepts and the roots are the same thing. They're also called zeros. Okay, so find the zeros, you're doing the same thing. Now, I had to add a 3b to both sides, and I put it in this correct order because remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So you have the variable squared, the variable, and then no variable. So it's in that order. And I had to add a 3b to both sides. Notice I did make a mistake. You can see how I wrote over some numbers because I forgot to change the sign. I made it like negative 3b over here. No, I got to get rid of the negative 3b on this side, so I have to add 3b to both sides. So this needed to be a plus 3b. So just pointing out, watch when you're moving those from one side of the equation to the other, that when you do that, you change the sign. So these should be your zeros or your x-intercepts or your roots, whatever you want to call them. This is the same thing. I put it in order. Now these two move over here. By doing that, I added an 18 and I added a 9v to both sides of the equation. So that means they came over here. Put them in order. Put it in Desmos or your calculator, and you'll get these as your zeros or your roots or your x-intercepts. They're the same thing. Okay, and then they're also called solutions. So the solutions would be, where they cross the x-axis. Once again, I put this in order. I had to subtract x from both sides. And in Desmos or your calculator, you'll get negative 6, 0, and 7, 0. And I've moved both of these over to the other side. And, one thing I forgot to write is equals 0, because on that y2 I have 0 there, whatever that does. I think even if you didn't put that there, you'd still get, these. But anyways, these are the solutions to number 15 too. All right, hopefully this helps, and good luck with the rest.